咁好少機會啊！星期六上晝，因為啱啱我哋有個朋友啊 Henry Choi 都問我嘅話，點解會喺星期六上晝啊？咁樣，因為我哋之前有陣時係夜晚啦，咁但係即係有啲 event 嘅時候，可能大家夜晚，但係因為我哋今日嘅嘉賓啊 Cynthia 啦，咁喺 Queensland，咁如果我哋夜晚8點啊7點咧，即係阿 Don 又頂得眼瞓嘅，佢仲係啦，咁啊唔好咁慘啦。咁所以咧，我哋即係個時間又改一改，咁啊響 weekend 咁都好多謝我哋今日嘅嘉賓啊 Cynthia 咧，即係佢響即係大家都知道，其實星期六對於澳洲人咧都係一個好重要嘅日子嚟嘅，即係捱咗5日嘅話，通常都想唞下嘅啊。咁我哋呢啲冇辦法啦，
出下去下 market 啊，咁好多謝 Cynthia 嚟幫我哋一齊做呢個 seminar 啦。
係啊，爭啲真係我都好慘。OK， 咁啊，所以咧，我諗我哋唔好阻大家咁耐啦。可能一陣間大家都即係 book 咗台飲茶啊咁樣。咁我哋趁大家未去飲茶之前咧，就再即係每一年我哋都係噶啦，因為當即係州政府佢哋開始接受新嘅提名嘅時候咧，每年嘅新政策啊或者佢哋新嘅要求，我哋都好希望請到州政府嘅朋友咧係嚟可以係同我哋分享一下嘅。咁加埋今年啦，大家都知啦，啱呢個星期有好多即係因為有新嘅政策啦，咁忽然間大家又對澳洲嘅移民更加有興趣啊！好多新嘅朋友我見到 join 咗我哋，咁變咗都尋晚我哋都搞咗個講座，都好多人嘅，因為尋晚嗰個就係比較上響即係一個同技術移民啦，或者係之類有關，係同行業性有關，係關於醫護人員，所以咧就今日哇，我哋都好忙，直踩2場啊！咁樣有啲朋友都會連續2日都捧我哋場，好多謝晒先啊！好似阿 Henry 啊咁樣，好早晨。咁亦都見到有啲我哋 Queensland 嘅街坊喺度嘅，有我哋啲同朋友啊、街坊喺度啊，咁樣咁啊好開心。咁今朝咧，我哋就傾下關於 Queensland， 即係應該大家亦都可以了解下昆士蘭啦，因為大家都知啊，過去幾年咧嗰個即係尤其是響唔一定係 business migration 啊，就算係 skill migration 都好啦。Queensland 基本上咧就係一開就係好多人即刻衝埋嚟搶，希望可以申請得到 Queensland 嘅州政府提名。咁究竟 Queensland 有乜好咧？好到連我都要即係好想，其實我都想
翻嚟呢邊
心喐喐㗎，心喐喐㗎咁解。咁所以咧就希望今日咧就請到 Queensland 嘅州政府嘅官員啊 Cynthia 咧就向我哋介紹下。嗱咁未請阿 Cynthia 開始之前咧，咁我哋又要都係循例買下廣告先啦。咁今日咧其實有我啦，同我嘅拍檔啦，阿 Don 啦。咁阿 Don 介紹下你自己先。你有個新嘅銜頭。
好啊。咁大家好啦，我係阿 Don 啦，咁就係澳洲嘅持牌移民顧問嚟嘅，咁就可以提供移民法嘅服務啦。咁另外咧，我都最近咧就做咗澳洲嘅太平紳士嘅，係啦。咁我哋本身個人咧就喺 Brisbane 呢邊嘅，咁所以今日我一定要喺度噶啦，同阿 Cynthia 一齊唱好 Queensland 噶啦。咁另外咧，我喺 Sydney 啦，同埋香港都住咗一段好長嘅時間嘅，咁所以咧對於呢3度地方嘅嘢咧，我都係非常之熟悉嘅，咁希望可以幫到大家啦。係啦，咁Brisbane 我唔講太多啦，講下 Perth 啦，不如交俾你講下 Perth 啦 ，Richard。
好多謝阿 Don。嗱咁Perth 我都唔講咁多啦，因為今日嘅主題係 Queensland，咁我冇理由講Perth 好過 Queensland 㗎。咁雖然我都諗住 Perth 嘅。嗱咁但係我都成日同人講㗎啦，其實我都係半個 Queenslander 嚟嘅，因為即係我都即係有屋響 Queensland，響即係一旦我回流嘅話咧，都希望重新可以盡快可以唔使捱貴屋啊！而家啲 Queensland 啲樓好貴啊！咁同埋我諗大家都知㗎啦，好多朋友都知㗎啦，因為我咧其實原先第一個移民嘅落腳點我都係 Queensland 嚟嘅，咁我都所以係一個 original 嘅 Queenslander 啦，咁即係stay of the origin 啦，我都係一個 maroon 嚟嘅。OK， 咁我響10幾年前就透過技術移民咗嚟澳洲，咁就係響昆士蘭嘅一個即係local government 啦。咁其實嗰陣時就都係其實係偏遠地區，好多人都成日話Richard 你好彩啊，揾到份工響 Queensland 啊。我話係啊，但係其實唔係容易㗎，因為要響偏遠地區嗰度講緊揸車。由 Brisbane 加上去要10個鐘頭先至到嘅地方，一個鎮政府啦，可以咁講啦，咁去做嘢，咁當然咧就 其實係好舒服嘅，嗰個地方好舒服嘅。咁透過技術移民，咁我其實係一個 IT 人嚟嘅以前。咁透過技術移民咧，就攞到工作簽證，就係而家大家成日好 hot 講緊嘅482。其實我當年咧就係457，所以咧我係一個 typical 嘅人版，就係而家大家準備行嗰條路。不過有少少唔同啦，因為而家482直接係可以攞到 PR 路。咁我哋嗰陣時457咧都仲要申請 PR 路嘅。Anyway，咁我而家咧就已經係成為咗一個澳洲嘅執業律師啦，亦都係一個澳洲嘅移民顧問啦。咁好多朋友都可能喺其他嘅 event 都見過我啊，或者係同我有認識啊，或者之類啦。咁有陣時喺即係一啲媒體嗰方面，亦都會揾我介紹一下澳洲嘅移民資訊啊，或者之類嘅。咁我喺澳洲嚟講就係其實讀即係好得意嘅。後生嗰陣時可能懶讀書啦啊咁樣之類，所以喺香港咧太多花哩花碌嘅嘢。咁反而嚟到澳洲咧，修心養性咧就重讀多書過喺香港。咁我喺澳洲分別喺 Queensland 同埋喺即係喺 Queensland 同埋喺呢個 Perth 咧都讀咗一個 degree 啦咁解。咁就而家咧就全力係投入響即係法律啊同埋移民方面嘅服務嘅。OK， 咁講翻頭先Don 都介紹咗啦。咁我哋因為有我啦，有Don啦，同埋我哋有香港啦，所以變咗我哋就可以成立咗3個 office。咁好多朋友喺香港嘅時候咧，申請移民都有個 concern 話 Richard 點解你哋個 office 喺香港咧，好似略嫌簡約咗少少喎，咁樣即係冇乜海景啊，冇乜即係落地玻璃啊咁樣。咁但係因為我想話俾大家知，因為我同Don我哋都係喺澳洲啦，喺即係呢個時候都喺澳洲，所以同埋我哋集中嘅服務都係即係喺澳洲嗰方面。咁所以咧，同埋大家想象下，可能你哋嚟緊移咗民之後，其實需要更加多嘅服務係喺澳洲而唔係喺香港。咁所以我亦都睇中咗呢點啦。其實我哋相信係喺香港少有嘅移民服務公司或者係移民顧問入邊咧，我哋比較專注其實當客人嚟咗澳洲之後嘅生活，而唔係淨係你哋喺香港，我哋幫你申請咗個 visa 就拜拜。咁好多朋友都其實之後都成為咗我哋嘅即係真正嘅朋友啊，甚至乎係街坊啦，好似Don嘅即係鄰居啊咁都唔定。OK， 咁呢度係我哋公司嘅服務啦。咁我哋專注喺即係澳洲嘅移民，所以我亦都暫時冇乜。即係掂咩其他國家啊，加拿大啊，適合紐西蘭啊嗰啲都冇啦咁解。咁自從疫情之前咧，其實我哋都有好多嘅一啲活動啦。咁呢啲就係我哋都好懷念嘅活動。我哋以前可以成日返香港同大家面對面咁見面。咁希望有機會都仲即係希望真係唔知幾時香港開返即係關，即係開關嘅意思係唔使我先隔離21日咁慘啦嗰種，咁我哋就可以盡快多啲時間返香港同大家見面啦。咁好啦，咁除此之外咧，咁仲有一啲就嗱，亦都開始有啲網上嘅活動啦。咁同埋呢啲咧都係同州政府方面嘅合作。咁大家都見到啦，咁我哋呢度有同唔同州政府嘅合作啦，咁解。咁我哋都因為要幫我哋嘅客人喺澳洲安居樂業啦，咁我哋有唔同嘅 partner， 譬如係銀行啦、保險公司啊之類啦，咁變咗就算有啲朋友嚟到澳洲，你話我想開個銀行戶口嘅話，其實除咗即係雖然呢啲唔係移民顧問要做嘅嘢，但係我哋希望大家比較 smooth 啲啊，或者之類咧，其實你係可以直情喺未嚟到澳洲之前，我哋已經可以幫大家開定銀行戶口，因為我哋係呢個 Commonwealth Bank 同埋呢個其實 Commonwealth Bank 即係香港嘅差唔多好似係最大即係銀行，即係香港嘅匯豐恒生啊、渣打啊呢啲咁大嘅銀行。咁喺澳洲嘅4大之中咧 ，Commonwealth Bank 就係最大嘅。咁所以咧，好多朋友其實喺我哋所謂叫 Everyday Banking 咧，都會喺 Commonwealth。咁變咗大家可能喺未嚟澳洲之前，其實咧已經可以咧係幫大家開定個戶口都得嘅。OK， 咁我哋係佢哋嘅 Global Alliance Partner 啦。好啦。咁介紹下啦，跟住咧就講下一啲嗱，呢啲咧就係我哋所謂嘅 settlement service 啦。咁我講一講啦，因為呢個就機緣巧合啦，因為有朋友咧就係初到步啦，咁無親無物，咁點好啊？咁我哋咁啱Don咧就充當住呢個義務嘅 Uber driver， 咁咧就去幫呢個客人咧就係即係幫一幫手啦。因為即係其實唔係話計翻好似 Uber 咁要計錢，而係希望總之大家唔好諗住攞咗個 visa 咁死啦，我下一步而係好順利咁可以係 settle 喺澳洲。咁第一步可能你喺落地嘅時候好彷徨咁樣， 又未租到車喎，又因為好多朋友都唔知嘅，死啦！我又冇電話卡啦，我又冇呢度車牌啦，我點租車啊？或者我成日又咁又要有隔離酒店啊？咁我出翻嚟咁點啊？當然冇好喺網上好多分享嘅啦已經，但係我哋希望提供到我哋嘅服務。OK， 咁另外一張咧就係呢個咧就係早排阿 Don 咧就去參觀咗一個我哋客戶咧，即係一啲嘅即係成果啊，可以咁講，就係話咧。因為我哋都好專注做一個188同埋即係呢個888呢個投資移民、商業移民啦。咁好多朋友咧都需要話喺呢邊咧係搞生意。咁因為我本身亦都係一個 corporate lawyer 啦。咁除咗係移民方面，我哋都可以幫客人咧即係做一啲生意買賣啊，甚至乎係即係去睇生意啊或者之類。咁因為作為即係律師嚟講，我哋都有一啲嘅工作要幫客人，譬如一啲我哋叫 due diligence 啊、盡職審查啊或者之類。嗱，咁呢個亦都係另外一個 case 啦。嗱，呢個係仲 raw 啲啊，因為呢個客人咧係會開一個新嘅餐廳，咁而家仲喺一個裝修期間啦，咁好興奮啊！佢哋大家見到佢嘅笑容滿面，因為佢嚟緊就會開一間即係餐廳，咁詳情有待公佈啦。咁頭先嗰間就已經營運緊啦。咁我哋仲有啲朋友嚟陸續有來，咁我哋都會希望咧將來可以介紹俾大家認識。咁即係。其實呢個就係講緊下一步，當你嚟咗澳洲之後，咁有啲朋友要創業啦，因為佢哋要滿足到佢哋嘅簽證嘅要求。有啲朋友可能係為興趣，咁嚟到都要諗下有啲咩細藝啊、維生啊，或者係興趣啊咁樣之類。咁呢啲咧都係即係我哋可以提供到嘅服務啦，咁之類。因為你唔知道呢度嘅規矩，唔知道呢度法規，咁你點樣可以嚟呢度開公司咧，或者係成啦？咁好在啦，咁我就會即刻即係有多一頂帽，就係我嘅即係響法律方面as一個公司律師嘅一個身份，就可以幫大家由開公司、註冊公司甚至乎係信託基金，甚至乎你去睇中一盤生意，究竟你點樣去買？咁因為好多時候，我唔係應該揾一啲 business booker 咁樣，我哋話俾你知，記住 business booker 咧。係代表咗賣方嘅，好多朋友唔知嘅，所以佢哋成日睇報紙或者喂好多生意賣喎 ，Richard 我咪可以自己買。佢哋係代表賣方，咁你一定要揾翻一個買方嘅 agent。我可以俾少少 tips 大家，因為澳洲係 agent 係只係代表成一方，佢哋係唔可以代表兩方，所以係會有 conflict of interest。所以咧，我哋就會係希望代表翻買方，即係我哋嘅投資方咧，去睇睇呢盤生意啊。究竟有冇啲咩問題啊？喺移民上啊，喺商業上，唔係一定移民嘅呢盤生意，唔係淨係幫你移民。可能你都希望呢盤生意係可以即係幫你將來喺澳洲方面嘅發展啊咁樣之類。咁所以呢個咧，我哋都會希望咧就係俾到資料大家。好啦，嗱呢一幅相咧就正啦，因為點解咧？呢個我相信係好少我哋響即係so far喺 market 咧，我哋暫時見唔到有。其他嘅即係好多嘅移民嘅顧問啊公司咧，係會有咁嘅做法，即係我哋叫 alumni event 啊，即係話咧，當我哋嘅客人嚟咗澳洲之後，咁因為我哋響呢幅相係喺 Queensland 影嘅，因為即係 Queensland 係我哋其中一個好大嘅 client base 啦，咁好多客人都嚟咗 Queensland，咁變咗咧，我哋就呢個就啱早排喺中秋嘅時候咧，就有個活動啦，咁搞咗個宵夜食，咁即係。請咗我哋好多客人，大家互相認識下，因為好多客人都希望嚟到之後，大家都香港人啊，認識一下點樣可以即係將來會唔會有啲機會嘅合作啊，或者之類啊咁樣嘅。OK， 咁呢啲咧基本上簡單介紹咗我哋公司同埋我哋嘅客人嚟到咗澳洲之後一啲狀況。好啦，咁差唔多嘅時候咧，我就將個台咧就交俾我哋今日嘅嘉賓介紹一下先，就係 Cynthia 啦。Cynthia 咧就其實同我哋合作咗好多年㗎啦，咁當年我哋即係喺香港嘅時候咧，都哇，真係飛嚟飛去嗰陣時啦，我哋咧都喺香港同阿 Cynthia 一齊咧係有搞一啲 event 啦，介紹 Queensland 嘅。咁而家就暫時轉為喺網上啦。我哋希望遲啲有機會又同阿 Cynthia 一齊去香港嗰度同大家見面。咁今日咧，我哋就請咗阿 Cynthia 咧，又再介紹一下。今日 Queensland 嗱，因為大家都知啊 ，Queensland 喺呢2年嘅變化好大，未來嗰幾年嘅變化會仲大。咁我哋希望聽Cynthia 介紹一下。咁我哋暫時要 switch 去英文台先。Now let's introduce Cynthia. Cynthia, Good morning. Thanks for
Morning.
joining us. And
Yes,
now I'm
yes.
passing the stage to you, and I can have a
Okay. All right. Hang on. Where's the one?
cup of water. Yeah.
How can I share the screen?
Yeah, you can just do the same. Let me stop my presentation. Yeah, I will stop my present. So, all yours.
Okay, thank you. Where's my PowerPoint? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can see your PowerPoint.
Okay, just a second. I'll move back. Anyone?
Yeah, you need to switch to the.
Can you see the PowerPoint now?
We can see the PowerPoint, but it's not in the presentation mode.
Yeah, that's why it's a bit weird.
You probably share the different window.
No, it's on the PowerPoint now.
Yeah, it's not the way that you.
I'll try again. Sharing.
I think you can still do the same way, but you just
receiving the I don't know what's a Wi-Fi issue or coming up.
Yep, perfect.
Can you see now?
That's perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we can see.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I'm Cynthia Chen from Migration Queensland, Readiness Queensland, based in Brisbane. It's my honor to be here to talk to all the friends from Hong Kong. I know last few months, even with the COVID and international border closure, we still have a lot of people from Hong Kong. When they get a visa, they try all them way to come to Queensland to settle down. I think there could be a lot of reasons, just as Richard mentioned before, for you guys who want to migrate to Queensland. I lost the presentation slides again. Can you see my slides?
Yes, I can see your slide, but that is on the first page.
I know, but I can't see it on my screen. I can see your image, but not my screen.
Oh.
Maybe you stop sharing. If you can stop sharing, maybe I can get in. Don, if you stop sharing, I think currently
I'm not sharing my screen.
Yeah, but for some reason I can only see your face on the screen.
Oh.
Not my PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see you two, Richard and Dawn, on the screen, but not my PowerPoint.
Richard, you need to unmute yourself.
Maybe you two stop sharing, then I get my PowerPoint back. Can you see my PowerPoint? Because I don't know how can I click. It's not on my screen now.
Richard, are you still sharing your screen? Can you unmute yourself?
I think he mute, but maybe stop sharing. Otherwise, I can't see my screen.
No.
So if I go to the next screen, can you see the next screen?
I can still see the first page of your PowerPoint.
Yeah,
not
that's
jumping
what I
to
mean.
the second
I
one.
can't see the screen, my PowerPoint on the screen now. So I can't click through it.
Can you still see the share button on the top?
Maybe I go to wait. Because currently I can only see you two face, not my screen.
Can you still see the top panel? That the way that you.
Yeah, it's still share the content.
How about you just stop it and share it again?
Yeah, I can redo it. I'll go back to my screen.
Yeah, now you stopped it. Good, so you can reshare again. I think it just started. Good. Yeah, it's back.
Yeah, it's coming back. Maybe, I don't know, maybe wireless problem. Anyway, so Migration Queensland, we just launched our new website and have a new branding. We used to call Business Skill Migration Queensland. Some of you may have heard about it. So our basic role is to assess the state nominated applications for skilled and business visas. So that's 190491 for skilled visas. Currently for business visa, it's mainly 188 visa and also 405 renew investment visa. And we promote Queensland as a destination for business migration, skill migration, and business investment. Of course, we attract investment from overseas. I think most of you, as can see today, we have more than 20 people stay online. You must be, you may have friends or relatives here in Queensland, Australia, or in the past you have visited Queensland, or you have studied here and now you want to come back. So we all welcome you to Queensland. Queensland is a central location in Asia Pacific. We have a lot of advantages to be your destination of choice. So quickly, I just talk about the opportunities in invest in Queensland. We have a lot of new opportunities for people around the world. Food agribusiness is a major sector. We're very rich in natural resources, including agricultural products like the cattle, beef products. We export a lot of Wagyu beef or Angus beef to Asia, including Hong Kong. We produce a lot of fresh vegetables, fruit, like now is the mango seasons. We have office in Hong Kong. Every year they try to source mango from North Queensland and send to the supermarkets in Hong Kong. You will say Hong Kong, Australia, Queensland mango is very delicious and very big in size. We also produce a lot of green products, nuts, macadamia nuts, timber products. We also have beverage products for export, like the Bundaberg brew drinks. So you can see in the supermarket. I mention this because a lot of people coming here on the business visa often ask me what kind of products I can export. So here we are the list of the products you can look at. And you're welcome to contact us if you want our TRQ treatment Queensland assistant to help you to identify some products suitable for export, including like seafood, lobster, or this prawn. Mineral resources, we produce a lot of coal. Majority of coal coming from Queensland, just like the iron ore from Western Australia, and then we supply a lot of power stations, steel mills in Asia, like Japan, Korea, China, Taiwan, Vietnam, India, just name it. Currently, we trying to promote new energy apart from solar. We know Queensland is a state of sunshine, so we never short of sunlight. More than 300 days per year, we can have a lot of free energy from the sun. And we also set up wind farms. Currently, hydrogen biofuels is a new trend for the market. We have invested from Japan, Korea, looking at set up the hydrogen energy supply in Queensland. So state government is put a big effort in it. Tourism, compared with other states, Queensland is a tourism destination for international tourists from South Gold Coast. Maybe most people know Gold Coast, all the way drive up to through Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Freda Coast, where we have the Freda Island, all the way up to Mackay, Lockhampton, Townsville, Mackay. We have Whitsunday, beautiful Whitsunday, Dame Dream Island, and all the way to Cairns. We have a lot of beautiful islands there. We have Hong Kong invest coming here to invest in resorts, casinos, hotels. So there's heaps of opportunities for tourists for site visit, or if you want to invest, buy motel, hotel business, or if you have a lot of money, you can buy a resort. Further inland, Toowoomba, Gold Coast hinterland, outback, there's a lot of beautiful scene for you to explore with your family, or like have a camping trip. Yeah. So the water is very pristine in our Great Barrier Reef, Fraser Coast. International education, I just briefly mentioned, we have about 16 universities across Queensland with a major universities campus here. The best one we know, the University of Queensland, reached graduate from Central Queensland University, myself from Griffith University, and we also have a Queensland University of Technology offer a lot of courses for like design, production, architecture, you just name it. We also have vocational education institutions like a TAFE. If you have to learn the adult migrant English program, you may have to enroll with TAFE. But TAFE also offer training for people who want to become a trader person or chef, or hairdresser, And if you're 188 business migrant, if you want to enroll your children into a public school, so Queensland University have a free tuition fee waive for 180 visa holders' children. Of course, we also have private school, So you have a lot of options if you want to study in Queensland, or if your children want to come here for study. So this is a major map of universities campus across Queensland from south to north. Health industry, because of COVID especially, people all aware, health industry is very important to our daily life. And the Queensland government always put a big effort in developing the health medical industry, biotech. We attract talented people from global organizations to do research, to provide a medical service, or to have collaborations. So from Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Townsville up to the north, we all have health precinct or health organizations which help us to focus on the sector's development. And we have some 188 business migrants. When they're here, they particularly look at investment in this industry because they see the big potentials, with COVID, to combat the virus, to maintain the health. That's very important sector for future development, and there's a lot of opportunities. So all the major sectors we're here, and the Queensland government, we have a particular team can help you to identify the opportunities in this area, or if you look for joint venture partners. I think most people know Brisbane as a capital city of Queensland has a majority population of Queensland. We kind of have about 4 to 5 million, but the majority, about 2 million people living in Gold Coast, Brisbane areas. And as a capital city, we have a lot of development happening, especially with the announcement of 2032 Olympic Games to be hosted by Brisbane. So you can say there's a lot of city development. The landscape is always changing. Currently next to the Queensland Government Building, 1 William Street, in the city near the Botanic Garden, we have the Queen's Wharf development, which is a major development, billions-dollar development. I think one of the joint venture partners is from Hong Kong. And we also have a railway development, airport development, new apartments, new 6-star hotels being built in Brisbane. So I think every year, if you come to Brisbane, you will see a lot of changes. So again, Brisbane Olympic Games will offer us a lot of opportunities, not just in sports sector, but also with the urban development, the health industries, education, tourism, you just name it. Here at the KPMG, they also did research about what's the benefits from Olympic Games. I believe with these major events coming up, the city is expanding, the population growing. We see more and more people moving to Queensland from southern states like Victoria, Tasmania, New South Wales. I think one reason is also because Queensland have been coping very well with the COVID. Even we have very strict border closure, but that ensure the majority of Queenslanders have a safe environment to live during the COVID time. And our health staff, the health department, hospitals working very hard to protect our Queensland people and help people, to recover or to get vaccinated. So people, more and more people found that Queensland is a very safe place to live, to work, and to study, and enjoy the lifestyle with the family. But as I said, Queensland is very big. We are the second largest state in Australia, next to WA, Western Australia. We have more than 1.7 million square kilometers in size. So outside the Brisbane Gold Coast, that's all we call the regional area. So we have a few major regional centers where you can see a lot of development. Toomba, that's about 2 hours west of Brisbane. It's a central location for logistics, for agriculture. It's an Asia bowl for the fresh produce. And we have the first private airport in Australia, located in Toomba, which is built by the Wagner family. They are very big family business in the region. They involve in construction and infrastructure development. So they built this private airport initially to try to send all the fresh produce from Queensland to Asia through Hong Kong. So we can't have a have a Cathay Pacific Airlines to send all the to the Queensland products to Hong Kong, and then further to other Asia regions. The region also rich in resources like the coal seam gas, coal mining, minerals, and also they have big solar farm development. And again, I mentioned about the logistics development. There's a lot of warehouse, like a big W, Woolworths, all these kind of big franchise supermarkets or chain stores. They all have logistics warehouse centers located in Toomba. So there's a lot of opportunities in the region. I think it's also a major aged care facilities center. People, in the old age, Australians, they like to have a quiet retirement lives, and Toomba is one of the locations you want to live. Sunshine Coast, I think most of you are very familiar. It's north of Brisbane, about a 1 hour drive. And other direction of Gold Coast. Gold Coast is also about a 1 hour drive from Brisbane. And Sunshine Coast, they are very active to promote new technology, new innovation. They have their own innovation hub, and there's a lot of small business like food manufacturing companies, tourism companies, restaurants, and health-related sectors. They have a University of Sunshine Coast and a private hospital. It's a major development area. And because of lifestyle, and we have a lot of Australians like to retire or have family life there. We have many South African migrants. When they come to Queensland, they would tend to choose living in Sunshine Coast. Not just because the lifestyle, they also have a lot of opportunities like farming. We have a lot of South Africans. If they want to grow macadamia nuts farm or have a cattle farm, they would choose Sunshine Coast because not too far from larger cities. It's a regional center. Wide Bay Burnett region, I think was it Dawn has been there with our
yes,
the delegations was just recently, right? It's Wide Bay. It's a Bundaberg region is another major agricultural food bowl for Asia. We have a lot of like a winery, vineyard, avocado. I think avocado is very popular in Hong Kong as well. We grow very big avocado here.
Avocado every morning.
Seafood, prawns. Queensland is major state to produce prawns, macadamia nuts, mandarin, orange. We export a lot to Asia, like China. Hong Kong, again, as I said, a lot of supermarket fresh produce. I think in Hong Kong, like was a Park and Shop, City Shop. They all have produce from Hong Kong, from Queensland. And through our Hong Kong office, we send the trade delegations to Hong Kong Food Show every 2 years, I think. Yeah, HOFEX. Yeah. So again, if you're looking for products from Queensland, like mango or this, or other drinks, some people looking for health products, health supplements, processed food, you can all come to TRQ for information. Rockhampton is a beef capital city of Australia. Every 3 years, we have a big beef expo. And just recently, we have in May, we had a small delegation because COVID is a smaller scale this time, but we still have a lot of interest in like a beef export from Queensland or even live cattle to Indonesia or to Vietnam, these kind of countries, or China. Yeah. And the region also developed coal seam gas, which is located in Chris Island near Gladstone. And we have a lot of minerals processing facility in the region. Townsville, I think Richard has been there a couple of times. It's a major tropical area in far north Queensland. It's a big port. A lot of cars from Japan, they shipped through this port. We also export a lot of agricultural products, minerals through Townsville. The Townsville port is kind of being developed. But around the region, we have a lot of resources, like as I said, solar, wind, biogas, minerals. We have marbles from the region for export. And of course, food agricultural products, seafood, cattle, tropical fruit, yeah, crops, just named. And our Treaty West Queensland, we have a major regional center in Townsville. So we have staff there to help you to identify opportunities. And just in June, recently, we have a delegation of migrants, investors going there. I will talk about this later. So now we quickly talk about the business nomination program for Queensland. We just recently announced the program. This aligns with the big changes from the federal government, Department of Home Affairs, from 1st July 2021. We have a new criteria for business innovation investment visa, which is provisional visa for 5 years now, not 4 years anymore. So we have 4 visa streams. So we quickly go through this. Business innovation stream, it's a points-tested visa. So you must be at least no more than 55 years old. If you have functional English, so you don't have to pay the fee for the language learning. But if you don't speak English, you can still apply for this visa. I think the criteria, maybe most of you have heard about this. You need to have currently run some business, you or your wife or your husband, you together as have 30% ownership in your business, in 1 or 2 qualified business, and with a turnover of 750,000 Australian dollars for the last 2 years of the 4 physical years. And you and your spouse have at least net business personal assets altogether 1.25 million. And of course, you have to nominate by a state or territory government for these 5 years. If you hold it for 3 years, after 3 years, then you can apply for your permanent resident visa. And this visa can be extended for 2 years, at least for once. Under COVID concession, maybe you can extend it twice. But normally, I would not suggest you to look at extension, because once you get the visa, we often encourage you to come here quickly to get your business started, so you can move on to your permanent residency as early as possible. Because this visa, you can include in your children, your dependents, if they're under 23. But if you extend a visa, that means at the time you got the extension visa, your children still have to be under 23. So if you're at age like 50s, you have to be very careful about your children's age. So trying to, apply early if you're ready, if you're eligible. And once you got the visa, trying to move on to AAA visa as soon as possible. But before we talk about AAA visa, I think Richard also mentioned before, we quickly talk about the Queensland nomination criteria, which is very similar to the previous criteria or aligned with federal government's criteria, immigration criteria. We just more focus on the business investment and funds transfer. So we ask you to have at least 1.25 million to be transferred to Queensland. That's actually was the immigration requirement. They ask you at the time you apply for 188, you must have 1.25 million net assets, which is legally acquired and for legal transfer to Australia when you get a visa. But we do have a slight difference for business investment in regional and non-regional area. So as I mentioned before, Great Brisbane, Gold Coast, that's in Southeast Asia area, you have to invest 400,000. If you choose to establish a business in regional area, which I mentioned all this area earlier, you only need to invest about 300,000. We're quite open to what area you want to invest. I think Richard mentioned before, like a cafe, restaurant, that's you can invest, but in Brisbane Gold Coast area, the reason we put 400,000 because as a capital city or the metropolitan area, the lifestyle or the living expenditure could be a little bit higher than regional area, and there's more competition, right? If you want to open a cafe or restaurant, I think the 400,000 is more decent size of business. It's not just like a takeaway in a food court, which is very small and very small business. We're more concerned about when you can survive in the competition. You have to look at the lease cost from the landlord, the traffic flow of your customers. So if you have a decent size, enough capital to open a decent size of a restaurant cafe, you may be more competitive. You can stand in the business for much longer time than a small food court takeaway business. And in fact, a lot of business we notice, as I said, you can invest any business you want as long as the legal, it's up to Australian standards. Immigration department, they have a certain sectors area that you're allowed to do business for this visa, like development export Australian products. Of course, in Queensland one, you export Queensland products. You can export to multiple countries, or you can just export to Hong Kong. It's up to you. But hopefully you can have not just one buy, you have multiple buys to buy your products. Or you find different products for export. And if, as I said before, if you have difficult to find Queensland products, we can help you to give you information. And we have office in Hong Kong, we can also give you guidance. And in Queensland, we have regional centers. Our Brisbane staff can also give you assistance. The only thing we are a little bit limited is importing business. It's not say you can't 100% you can't import. We just don't want some lower end products. For instance, in past we have some people want from India or Bangladesh, they do T-shirt manufacturing. So it's very low end products. Some people they want to import the household items like the ornaments, some household stationery. It's very kind of a oversupplied products in Australia. It's not much very adding. But if you're able to import something with a high technology, very innovative, which is not currently available in Queensland, for instance, like a drone technology, it's not just as a toy, but it's also used for commercial purpose, like the agriculture, forest, mining industry, for telecommunication industries, for emergency industries. And this kind of products, you need, it's not cheap, you have to maintain it, repair it, or assemble it, or they also need the training to use it skillfully. So these compounds you can import and provide a very added service. We also have some people import like air conditioner, or import some products like the furniture. We have a Vietnamese clients, they manufacture high-end premier furniture for 5-star hotels. So they provide design in Australia. You know, what's Australian like? They provide design, customized design, and products manufactured in Vietnam, but they have to ship to Australia for assembly or for installation for the clients. I know some of the people also provide furniture to property development companies. You know, they build new apartments. Currently, luxury apartments is getting more popular. So some of the luxury apartments, they like the hotel style accommodation building. So they provide all the furniture. So you have to, you know, source furniture. You can build it locally, but of course it costs more money. So some people, they source products from overseas, which they all prefabricated, but you still have to provide design, installation, assembly, all this, you know. So this, if you can provide value-added service, that's fine. As I said, people provide air conditioning products or kind of home style or kind of home smart system, surveillance system, but you also need to install it. You just not provide it. Products, you know, you have to provide the installation service. Some of the installation service, you have to be aware of the licensing issues. If you don't have a license, you may have to find a business partner or some staff or subcontract people. They can give you the licensing. So that's just mentioned about the importing business. It's not that we say 100% you can't do it. You still can do it, but it depends on what kind of products you import. You know, import some high-end, premier, innovative products, not just low-end products. Property development business we don't accept. This reason is mainly because property development business, it takes a very long time to generate sales, and you need to purchase the land. Even you don't purchase existing land with the property, you may have to demolish it. They get the council approval, then planning, you know, design the building. It takes ages, and for this visa, it's 5 years now, but you still want to, you know, run the business quickly for at least 2 years and live here, and then you can, after run business continuous for 2 years, then you can apply for AAA visa. But in the past, we have some people, I'll give you an example. In the past, we have some Chinese from mainland China. He's very obsessed with building a hotel, build a hotel himself. So that's fine. But the problems, he does not have too much capital. So he only got that money to buy about 1,000 square meters of land on the Gold Coast. Then he wanted to build a hotel. And when he talked to the town planner or designer, they said, oh, fine, we can get the council approval. But in the end, it took him more than 3 years to get approval. I think it's mainly because he hadn't got enough money to build enough facility for car parking. And the land is not very big, so you can either dig underground to build more basement, or you build the apartments a bit high with more parking facilities. But even on the Gold Coast, they have a you know, council limit on how many floors you can build the apartment. And depending on the location, you know, in the central surface paradise, maybe you can build high rise. But some suburbs, they have maybe only can build up to 10 levels. So if you can't get the council approval with your limited budget, so that's just dragged on. You have to change your plan many times. So in the end, I think almost in the 4th year, he finally got approval. So his hotel can open, but his visa ran out because that time he only got a 4-year visa. It's not 5 years, but even 5 years, you know, you have not many years left for you to run the business. And when you develop the hotel or even apartment building, you don't have any income, right? Don't have revenue. So at the time you lodge your AAA visa, immigration want to say your business is operating continuously, generate sales. But because you're waiting such a long time, and you put all the money in, you haven't got any income. You have to rely on your overseas business or whatever previous income to maintain life. I don't think that's easy for you. And when a visa is mainly for small business owners, so property development is just too big. In the past, like 132 visa, for people already got a visa, they want to do property development, we can't require them to have a relevant experience in construction or in property development. And also they need to invest in large projects like 10 million at least. So we don't want to say small development like the 1 unit, 2 units, that's too small. Too many people do the similar business. A lot of Australians, they do this kind of investment. But for overseas investors, we want to have a decent size of the business investment, have a certain scale. And also, this limit is also looking at your visa, purpose to help you to get your visa permanent residency pathway quicker. Property development is not a good choice. But if you have a capital, some people they particularly came for property development. If you still want to do, you have business partner, whoever help you, that's fine. Or some people that have family members, relatives help them, but don't link to your visa. When you get a visa, you can do multiple business here, but in the end, you can only choose 2 business linked to your visa. And I believe you have everyone, you have a family to look after, you have to run the business, you have certain capital. So you don't have all the time to do everything. You just have to choose one direction for your visa, because your priority maybe get a permanent residency in the future. So you choose your business focus and work towards it. Then you can, get a result quickly. I can give you some examples. In the past, we have some people complain, oh, I'm too busy, I can't do this, that. But we have some certain people, they have 3 children or even more than 3 children. So they still have big families to look after. As a lady from Taiwan, she has 3 young kids, but she actually managed to run 3 businesses. One restaurant, Japanese restaurant with a business partner on the Gold Coast. It's quite a decent size. Another business is for study tour. She trying to attract students from Taiwan. That was before COVID. And she also run another business to develop skincare products. And usually it was like the cream products because she's a lady, she likes all the skincare products, natural products from Queensland. So she found some business partners here to help her develop her products, which is with a good recipe, with the ingredients, and also got the TGA approval. So she made a lot of effort into her 3 business. But in the end, of course, she chose 2 business for a permanent residency visa application. But she obviously has a very clear objective at the beginning, and she made her plan very clear. So she followed her steps, step by step. And she also worked very closely with her accountant, with her migration agent, lawyer, to make sure when she run her business, she meets the visa requirement, but also, she gets all the accounting tax benefits for the business she's operating. And I think in the 3rd year, she lodged her AAA visa application. She came here straight away after she got 1A visa. So run business for 2 years. In the 3rd year, she lodged her application, and she got her AAA visa 2 years ago. So that was a very successful story. We also have a lot of other successful stories we can share with you. On our website, we have some examples. You can also have a look. If we have more time, I can give you more examples. Currently, we also have some people from Hong Kong. They're looking at their skills, like they do products design. One example is for T2 Shop. That's very well-known branding they sell the teapots and tea products in all the cities in Australia. But this gentleman, he designed the products, packaging products for the company. So initially, I think his previous agent asked him to do export, but export agricultural products. But he said my strength was in product design. So I told him, you can do this kind of design, design service, use your own skills, your experience in the area which you are very familiar with, and that will be easier for you to start. So basically, back to 1A visa, you can purchase a new business, existing business, or you can start a new business from scratch. Or you can have a joint venture with the business partners. But if you have joint venture, you just make sure you have at least 30% ownership interest. The other visa used to be very popular with Hong Kong candidates is an investor stream. It's again 65 points points tested. You have to be under 55. But the assets requirement has been increased. Currently is 2.5 million. So I think Richard mentioned before, it's not easy to meet the 2.5 million assets, and you have to invest all these 2.5 million into compliant investment products. It's like the venture capital funds or the what's called the managed funds products. But when you apply, you also need to have a certain eligible investment meets the eligible investment requirement. I think here it was a mistake. It should be 2.5 million. It's not 1.5 million. 1.5 million was the previous requirement. I'll talk about the compliant investment later. So Queensland nomination, again, it's very similar to the immigration requirement. We don't have much additional requirement except for 500,000 for your settlement. So that's all add up to 3 million. As I said before, if you have a commitment to Queensland, I think most people migrate here for family purpose, for children's future. And if you want to purchase a house or even apartment, current market price, 500,000 is not much for you to purchase property in Queensland or in Brisbane or Gold Coast area. Maybe in regional area it's cheaper, but you also have to look at the cost of family living. So 500,000, I think for settlement funds is very reasonable. Significant investor stream, this visa stream is again like the invest stream, just double the size of the investment, double to 5 million. And all the 5 million you have to again invest in the compliant investment. And I think most people choose this visa is because there's no points test, no age limit. You know, if you're over 55, we have people in their 80s or 70s, they still apply for this visa. The other good thing for this one is for residence requirement. For investor stream, you have to live at least 2 years before you apply for the true aid visa. But for this visa, you don't have to worry too much about the residence, as long as you can live in Australia, in Queensland, 40 days per year, or if your spouse or de facto partner can live 180 days per year. The other thing I want to mention about the role swap, I forgot to mention before. For one aid visa innovation or invest stream, you both can swap roles with your spouse. So we have some people at the first stage, the husband can meet the criteria, so husband apply for the one aid visa. But in the end, when they got the visa, the wife come here to spend more time with the children who study in Queensland. But the husband had to stay in Hong Kong to run the business. So in the end, the wife can start the business in Queensland and become the primary applicant in the second stage. So that's the flexibility of the visa. For investor stream, the same reason, you can swap the role. But when you make the compliant investment, which is normally before you get a visa, you and your spouse should both as investor for the compliant investment. So that at the second stage, you can swap the role. So that's something you have to be very careful when you make the compliant investment, just let your agent know or your major fund company know. So here's a compliant investment framework. It's a very simple, straightforward requirement. So you put 20% of your 2.5 million or 20% of your 5 million into the venture capital growth private equity funds. And 30% in approved manager funds, which invest in the Australian stock listed emerging companies. That's equivalent to 750,000 for invest stream. That is for 1.5 million. The rest money, up to 50%, half the money you put in the manager funds as a balanced investment. There's more details about the compliant investment. I would suggest you talk to the manager fund company. We have a couple of big manager fund company, very reputable here. They offer compliant investment products. I think Richard and Dawn also know them. For example, like Mollis Australia, I think they come to MA Financial. Yeah, they're based in Sydney. Or they actually have an office in those cities. They're quite active and they're quite reputable. In Queensland, we have a few other companies like the what's called the I'll give you the name. It's YS investment funds. They invest in biotech funds or education funds. Yeah. So each fund they invest in different funds. I know Victoria State, they ask you to make sure your funds particularly invest in Victoria or the company must be Victoria-based company. Queensland, we don't have this limit because that's not very realistic. For major funds companies, they source funds from different channels, and they can invest in anywhere inside Australia. Or some of the projects could be multiple locations. So it's not realistic to limit it into Queensland. Your commitment to Queensland is more like you live in Queensland, you can make additional investment in Queensland, or you study in Queensland, that's part of the commitment. Compliant investment framework is set by the federal government, so we don't have additional requirement. There's another visa stream called the entrepreneur stream, which also have no age no points test, but they have still 55 years old, and you have to invest in compliant entrepreneur activities. This visa stream has a big change from the previous criteria. Queensland haven't announced this criteria. I think they still have to do some industry consultation, but I can see we particularly want people invest in the area which is technology related, like agriculture technology, food technology, or other technology like the mining technology. Information technology. Any technology related sectors will be considered. But we have to work out the decide the model whether you should self-fund yourself. I think that's possible, or you have major fund companies to support your post activities. I quickly go through the steps for you to apply for Queensland nomination. It's very simple. As I said before, you just look at whether you're eligible for the federal government Home Affairs immigration criteria, visa conditions. If you're eligible, then you can look at our Queensland nomination criteria, which I listed before. If you're all eligible, then you just prepare your documents. You talk to accountant, people like Dawn and Richard. They are the professional migration lawyer agent, so they can help you prepare the documents. Some people want to apply themselves. In the past, I remember we have a particular Hong Kong guy in his 50s. He insisted he prepare himself. But after he got his, at the time he applied for Queensland nomination, he asked me a lot of questions. Honestly, it's not my responsible to answer him all his questions. If he decides to apply himself, he needs to look at all the website information, prepare it up himself. Queensland government, we are not a migration agent to give you this kind of assistance. You either do yourself or you engage a experienced migration agent to help you. So anyway, he insisted to apply himself. In the end, when the immigration department asked him to answer certain questions or question his financials or his documents, he did not understand the questions. In the end, he got a panic. Then I had to refer him to another agent who's very experienced with also accounting background and financial background. And the agent, helped him at the very last stage, but still cannot guarantee success. It's the reason because he did not engage the agent at the very beginning. If he had engaged the agent at the very beginning, the agent would tell him what to do, what kind of document to provide to the immigration department, whether you're actually eligible to this visa. Because he did not do that properly. In the end, he could not answer the immigration questions. He could not provide all the information. And it was too late for him to tell the immigration department, or maybe that's not the assets I want to provide, or that's not the business I should apply. Because as I said before, you can have multiple business, but you can only choose the two business to link to 180 visa or 280 visa. So sometimes if you don't do that properly at the beginning, or you don't know what's immigration want, and you just choose whatever business you want, you think it's possible, but in the end, that may not work. That's just waste your time, with your resources. So the agent's role is to help you to look at what the visa is best suitable for you and what kind of documents you should prepare. Immigration law is very complicated. We even see some lawyers, they may not be specialized in migration law. They also make a lot of mistakes when they help people to apply for the visa. And the migration lawyer, focus on employment law or the student visas may not be expert in the business innovation investment visas. So this visa is very specialized. If you can't speak English very well, if you don't have time, if you don't understand the migration law or immigration criteria very well, I would strongly recommend that you use a migration lawyer's service to help you save your time and money. Because if you got refused, you waste your application fee, which is not cheap, and you waste all the time you're waiting for the visa. The example I gave you before, that guy, because he was in his 50s, very close to 55. So once he got the visa refused, he just passed the age 55. He lost that opportunity. So that was a very kind of a very unfortunate situation for him. But a lot of things you could avoid at the beginning if you use engage professional people. So once you get ready, you get everything organized, especially financial documents, because the financial auditing look at the business documents, will look at what's business is suitable for the visa and what document you should submit. And then you can submit EOI, expression of interest, on the skill select, which is the immigration department website. You choose Queensland, and then we invite you, when we look at the EOI, we normally invite you next business day, and we give you 2 weeks to submit the documents. So that's why I said at the beginning, you prepare documents early, and once we invite you, you can submit your documents application very quickly. We don't need many documents at this stage. Currently, we need a copy of visa, passport page, because in the past we found some people, when they put the EOI, they even put their name other way around, family name and given name, because your passport maybe in a Chinese family name way, but in Australia it is the other way around. We have some people from Vietnam, or they often got the name in a different order, and that's give identity kind of an issue. So we now ask for passport page, and we ask you to fill your SELP, which is statement of liabilities, statement of assets and liabilities, Form 1139A. You can download the Foreign Department on this website. Give the accurate, up-to-date information about the assets, net assets, and we don't have to see your evidence, because the evidence will be assessed by the Department of Home Affairs. We're not going to repeat the process to save the time. You need to fill in our application form. That's basic information about yourself, your spouse, and you sign the page to declare you understand all the Queensland nomination conditions or criteria. The other document is a business proposal form, which you can download from our website. That's very straightforward form. You don't have to prepare, some people prepare 100-page or 60-page or 50-page business plan. It's up to you. If you want to prepare this kind of plan, you can, but in our template, we only ask very straightforward questions, like your business background, what kind of skills you have, you can use for your business in Australia, in Queensland, and what's your market research you have undertaken to understand the business environment here, what kind of business you want to establish, and a brief summary of the business you want to establish, your knowledge about some of the regulations with relevant to your business, or the employment you want to create, the budget you look at for your business establishment, all these basic questions. The last question is about the benefit, economic benefit to Queensland. So with your business investment, whether you can create new jobs, whether your business established in a regional area, contribute to local economy, or your business, bring in new technology, or give some or help export Queensland products. So that's all the economic benefits to Queensland. So that's all the basic question we're asking. It's not difficult to answer, and we receive your full application, including the application fee. Currently, most of states charge for application fee. Our fee is $500 plus GST. But of course, if you lodge in Hong Kong, you don't have to worry about GST. We have an online portal for you to submit the documents, so it's a very straightforward process. We process the application within 14 days, 2 weeks. If you apply for 188 invest stream and SRV, it will be much quicker to process. Sometimes we can process within a day or even on the same day. If you have urgent requests, we have some people in the past, they're 1055 very soon, so we process their application in priority. Once you get the Queensland nomination, you have 2 months, 60 days to lodge a visa application. So that's, I repeat again, if you get your documents prepared before, you don't have to worry about, is there any issue with your application? Because in the past, we have some people, they lodge EUI, then they do the auditing on the financials, they realize they claim too many points, so they have to justify it. So you can only change your points on the EOI before we nominate you. Once we nominate, you can't change the points. So that's why you do preparation at the very beginning. That's avoid all the changes towards the end. This is just a quick summary of the nomination we did before. Many years ago, Queensland had very strict criteria, so we don't have too many nomination quota. Most of the state nomination quota went to Victoria or New South Wales. But now Queensland is catching up. Our nomination every year for business investment visas increased from about 200 per year or even less to 500, then double every year. Last financial year, we initially got the 1,200 quota placements for state nomination just for business visas, which include 180 visa, 132. And then we get another 200, so altogether 1,400 quota. We almost use all the quota. And this financial year, again, we got 1,400 quota. So because we opened the program quite late, I think we still have enough quota at this stage. So you're welcome to lodge your application as soon as possible once you're ready. So that's a comparison of the last 2 financial years about the data we collected with our proposed investment. And you can see there's a big increase every year in terms of assets transfer, investment, job creations. It's all a big change. This graphic chart gives you a brief idea about where most of the application comes from. So at this stage, we still have the Chinese applications from China, mainland China, the majority applications. Last financial year have an increase of a Chinese application. I think it's more because more people apply for 132 visa, which is a permanent residency visa. Hong Kong again jumped to number 2, and Vietnam 3rd place. Other countries like South Africa, Iran, Taiwan, Korea, they're all very keen to move to Australia, to Queensland. Also, I think we have India. We have lots of skilled migrants from India. And the major business people want to invest, we put wholesale here. It's also including export. The retail business last financial year. So it's like a cafe, restaurant, supermarket, stores, convenience stores, it's all retail business. Construction, it's actually including the property development, but that's in the past mainly for 132 visa holders to invest in the property development or construction service. We have some people from Hong Kong, their background in engineering, civil engineering. So if you want to establish a construction service or provide a renovation service, as I said before, you may need a license. So if you can't get a license immediately, you have to find a business partner to work with you or employ someone who has a license or subcontract to other people to do the job. Manufacturing accommodation is more like a hotel, motel business or resort. We also people involved in wedding accommodation. As I said, Queensland is a big tourism state. We have people purchase a big guest house in Mackay region with Sunday, and it has been a local wedding venue for many years, very good reputation. So he took over and expanded it. And even during COVID time, because now capital city have too many people affected by virus, so people like to live in regional area. And his business in Mackay, in their regional tourism destination, and people want to have wedding, they all go to the Whitsunday area, which have a beautiful beach island, and that's good business for him. The other business is like professional service. As I said before, if you provide like an education service, we have some people, they want to do student study tours, that could be after COVID, we can continue this type of business with the border opening very soon. Other service is like we provide an IT service or some other, innovation service, health service even, or even cleaning service, Settlement service, just like Richard and Don did for their migrants. Queensland government also provides some settlement service as a guidance. These 2 gentlemen, they are from Taiwan. they also 1A visa holders, and they mainly do export. They export like a sandstone, marbles, bricks to the Taiwan market. They also export the Wagyu beef to Taiwan, and they came to join our Queensland government investment tour to Rockhampton twice, which is Beef Australia, to look for export opportunities, to find providers, beef supplies. They also, with our Queensland government's help, they went to Townsville, inland quarry, marble quarry, to look for marble products to export to Taiwan. And we also organized like the seminars, in 2 weeks, actually less than 10 days. We're going to organize a migrant information seminar with a local financial service providers, and also Australian China Business Council, which is a peak body for business organizations. So we provide some information for settlement and also help you to network with other people here. And we also share the successful stories from these migrants. And this is a Beef Australia activity we organized 2021. In 2018, I also took about 30 people to Beef Australia in Rockhampton. And you can see the photo on the right side. It's a networking event with our Queensland Premier and Natasha, the Premier. So we have our delegates from Taiwan, China, Vietnam all here. This roadshow to Townsville in North Queensland, we have Mayor came to meet our delegates, including migration agents and also some investors. Our manager, Greg McKing, was also part of the delegation, and we took them to visit about 2 local areas to identify opportunities in agriculture, in infrastructure, in construction, in tourism, education. Yeah. Here's a big map of Queensland government overseas office under the Treaty with Queensland. So we have an office in Hong Kong for more than, I think, 30 years now. And our office in Wan Chai used to be at the Harbour Center, now moved to what's called the Shin Hong Kei Center. Yeah. And we also have office in Taiwan, 4 offices in China, and the other office in Japan, Korea, India, Indonesia, Singapore. We're also going to open a new office in Vietnam. So you can see our focus is very much on Asia Pacific. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much. I hope I did not hold up you for too long. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to ask.
Thank you so much, Cynthia.
That's fine. Is there any questions coming?
OK， 嗱，如果大家問可以喺我哋個留言留問題嘅。大家有冇問題想問下 Cynthia？
Cynthia, I got the question from someone texting me. I think I asked you before, but just want to confirm. For the 1AA, especially like B1AA visa, does Queensland government offer any age exemption?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. If you are over 55, you can still apply for 1AA visa, innovation stream, but the investment level will be increased. I think currently for regional area, you have to invest 1.5 million. For non-regional area, 3 million.
Oh, how about the investment stream?
1.5 million for regional area, non-regional area, 3 million.
Cynthia, is that the 188A business investment amount for the age exemption?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So do you offer age exemption for the 188B visa?
Not really, because it's a bit difficult for us to look at the age weight for one investor stream, because currently we did not ask for additional investment for 188 visa, except for the settlement funds. But it's all case by case, you know. If you have very strong family connection in Queensland, if you're student, if your children currently studying in Queensland, or if you have relatives living here, if you already have existing business here or investment, just let us know. Then we look at your case individually.
Okay, good. Yep. And yeah, so we're talking about the settlement amount because there's a new in this year. So a client wants to ask, how do they prove it? And is there any, what's the procedure that they need to move the fund to Australia? Say, do they need to move it immediately after the visa grant or something?
I think it's again dependent on personal situation. For instance, 188 business innovation. If you want to get your 888 visa quicker, you obviously want to come here, move your money here, so you can find a place to live with your family and purchase a business or start a new business. Just as I give example, that Taiwanese lady before, she started very quickly after her 188 visa. That's why she was able to apply for her 888 visa in the third year. We got it in the past. Some people, they leave everything too late, but sometimes it could be a personal situation. You cannot get rid of your, not get rid of, but to sell the business or find someone to take over your business in the home country. Then you move to Queensland maybe in 2 years after your visa grant. And then you just find you run out of time. And because in 2 years, the market conditions could change. Your initial plan may not work. You have to change your business plan. We allow you to change your business plan, but sometimes there could be some unexpected thing happens. I'll give you an example. We have a South African guy. He did not come here immediately because his mother was sick, very sick. So he stayed in his country to look after his sick mom. But he got his wife and his children coming to live in Sunny Coast. But he made a mistake. He did not talk to his Queensland government, and his agent from South Africa also gave him the wrong information. That time he was told, "Oh, don't worry, you can extend your 188 visa, so you don't have to go to Queensland that early." So he said, "Oh, that's fine." So I stayed in the country until his mom recovered. He moved here in I think almost in the 4th year. So when he came to see Queensland government, it was already in 4th year of his visa. His visa could expire very soon. But he told us, "Oh, I'm not come to join my family. I can start my business. Can you give me some advice?" Then we had to tell him, "Sorry, you don't have enough time to apply for your 888 visa." That time, he actually could ask his wife to start this when he stayed in the home country. Rather than his wife here doing nothing, waste the time. So that's why I said before, the role swap give you a lot of flexibilities. If you yourself can't come here straight away, ask your spouse come here to help you start a business. And your spouse run the business for 2 years continuously, then your spouse can become the primary applicant for the permanent resident visa application. And that's give you a lot of flexibilities. Because when you leave too late, as I said, sometimes you can't take time to find a good business to purchase, or even you start your own business. And when you apply for 888 visa, you need to meet the turnover requirement, which is 300,000. This requirement has been changed since 2012. I think immigration, because of COVID, they did not increase the turnover level. So that's good for a lot of people. But still, some people found that it's difficult to achieve turnover, especially companies like a travel service business. Because of COVID, a lot of travel agencies, they just shut down. And some small restaurant business, cafe, if they're not in good location during lockdown, especially like Melbourne, Sydney, they have such a lockdown period. So cafe, restaurants, they closed. If they close their business, you have no sales, right? You can't meet the turnover requirement. So if you come here early, you may still have flexibility to make a change. Currently, we have another guy from China. His background is a travel agency. So he initially planned to be a tour guide in a tour service. It's not like a travel agency, but a tour service to host inbound delegations. But because COVID, nobody coming, so he had nothing to do. But he did not make any change. He just lived like this. If you are very switch on, you would know change your business plan immediately. You find some other things to do. You can't just do nothing. Then you're not able to meet the visa requirement. So that's something you always have in your mind. Once you got a visa, come here as soon as possible, start your business. If you cannot, ask your spouse to come here to do the business. Then you can, move quickly to apply for AAA visa in the future.
Okay.
I always advise you to, the earlier you start, the earlier you can get to the PR pathway and give yourself more flexibilities. As I said before, if you leave too late, like a South African guy I gave example before, when he was told he could not apply for AAA visa, he already 55. We give him age waiver in the end, but that's just, waste his own time. He had to apply for 180 visa again because he's not able to extend his visa. He did not run his business for 2 years. He's not able to apply for AAA visa because he's not here for 2 years or run the business for 2 years. So he had to apply for 180 visa again, using his South African business to apply for 180 visa again. We have a couple of people have this kind of situation. Some people we recently have another Chinese guy, was a kind of a COVID family situation. His own parents and his wife's parents was sick, very sick, got some terminal ill and even passed away. So he and his wife back to the home country to look after the parents. Then he came back, but he did invest in some big restaurant business as a joint venture partner. But the problems, both of the couple went back to home country. Nobody stayed here to run the business. And I think as a joint venture, he only put his own name as a joint venture partner. His wife's name was not there. So if he went back to home country, nobody, his business partner run the business here. But I don't think a restaurant business you can run remotely. So he did not provide enough information about he managed the business when he's offshore. Because currently under COVID concession, your offshore time still counted as your time in Australia. But because he was not here to run the hotel business, or he did not provide information about he communicated with his business partner or customers or stakeholders, so his AAA visa got refused. I think 180 visa extension got refused. Yeah, that was a very unusual situation. But the most people, if they take it very seriously, commitment here, they can get a AAA visa without difficulties.
Cynthia,
so migration is a long journey. You just have to plan very early. You don't leave everything too late. Yeah. I have seen many Hong Kong people coming here in the last 12 months. Most of them are very, very active, trying to find a good business to up and running. They come to here to see the Queensland government to get information or guidance, or they talk to their migration agent to get help, or find a good accountant to help them. Accountant to help you to do your financial documents for your business, because you have to lodge a tax, right? You have to do booking for a tax lodgement, and that's all very important for your business or future visa application. And accountant can tell you how you set up your business structure, which is give you tax benefits or good accounting implications, and also agent tell you how to make sure your business structure, business model also meets the visa requirement.
Okay, Cynthia, we've got 2 questions on the chat room. One of the person is asking, is a Chinese restaurant with 10 staff okay for the 888 business requirement? I think that's easier one.
No problem. I think you also have to be aware the labor cost in Australia maybe is different from Hong Kong. If a restaurant high 10 staff, even part-time staff, the restaurant is quite a size.
I think restaurant always hire casual staff.
It depends. Most of the restaurants, they have at least one full-time as a manager and a couple part-time staff or casual. But casual staff can also count it as a part-time staff, but you have to provide more information about their working hours or this. But 10 people for restaurant, that's fine. But I think, again, restaurant business is all depend on location, your experience. In the past, where some people, they think they have never done restaurant cafe business before, so they want to open a cafe. But in the end, they found it's not easy because in Australia, labor costs are high. You have to do a lot of things yourself. Otherwise, you cost your own money to hire people. But we have one Chinese guy, his wife's still in China. He's here with his daughter, but he has never run a restaurant business before. So it took him a fair bit effort to start a business, or he purchased a cafe business. But you had to spend the extra effort to make the business up and running properly. So what's the other question?
The other question is like Yvonne is asking, the business that you have mentioned in the presentation seems quite a big amount of investment. What are the usually business that people do for the 888? Can you share with us some of the examples?
Yes. I think I already give you some example. Most common is a cafe restaurant. Yep. But if you don't like cafe, some people, they don't like cafe restaurant. Some people just do export. You can work in from home. But of course, we hope you not just working from home. You can have a warehouse to store the products, or you have a showroom. Other people, business we have very common, like a solar panel installation. I mentioned before, air conditioner installation. But of course, you need certain skills, or you have to employ someone who have certain skills. Some people open a store, retail store, like the jewelry shop. The others is the supermarket. We have more people want to open a grocery store for Asian food. The other shops, we have some people open a printing shop. You help them people take passport photos, do framework, the frame for the pictures. I think the business is quite good. The guy purchased an existing business in Sunnybank, which is a lot of Asian population there. But you need a photocopy machine, do laminating, all this for people. It's not a big store, but you also can provide additional service. You don't have to all store-based service. You can do, especially during COVID, when the lockdown, shopping center shut. So what can do? It was affected by business, but he trying to find other way to advertise his business, like social media, Facebook, whatever you use, WeChat, you use to advertise to your customers. And most of customers are loyal customers, regular customers. You provide the passport photos, as I said, printing. Some people want to do a booklet for the album for the children, or a market, you print a picture on it. So he does all kind of this kind of printing service. We have other South African in Southern Coast, they also do signage. In Australia, it's very popular. You have a logo on the T-shirt, as a work unit, uniforms. They do all the signage on the car logo, or signage for some banner. This kind of business is service-based, but you need some equipment to do laminating, all this. And most people buy existing business, but you can also start yourself. We have other people, currently, recently, we got 2 people, they have some carpentry background or construction renovation service background. So they purchase business, franchise business for flooring, carpet flooring, or install the timber floor. The other business they do, small ones, is like printing, signage. I mentioned before the product design, like for packaging design, photography. We have some people from Japan. They're very good at the photography. So that's more like a home-based service. But of course, if you have money, you can open a studio. But I think most of photographers, they are working from home. So working from home, you have to look at how you make your investment. Non-regional area 300,000, non-regional area 400,000, regional area 300,000. If you don't have a office, you're home-based, how you make your business investment? Maybe you buy a very expensive equipment, photographer. You may need a car, for your business. But you don't have to invest as one lump sum. You can make investments step by step. At the beginning, you put 100,000 as a startup capital. Then with your business expand, you put more money into a business. If you purchase a business, it depends on how much cost. Like a franchise for the carpet flooring, it's quite established business. I think it costs them more than 400,000 to purchase business, and also plus stock value. You have to purchase some stock. The Asian grocery store, some people buy the IGA, which is a quite large supermarket, that will cost about 1 million. But for small grocery shop, maybe cost you 500,000. We have other Asian people, they buy the chocolate factory. They actually have no background in the food manufacturing, but they like it. So they buy a small chocolate manufacturing business. The others, they do education service, like a tutoring service. But tutoring service also look at countries, a lot of online service. So you have to hire some teachers, KU teachers. But the annual turnover maybe not that big, depend on how many students or you can recruit. The other business is a grocery store, supermarket, delivery service. We have more people involved in the delivery, parcel delivery, logistics service. Retail business, there's a lot of people, all kinds of retail service, retail shops, convenience stores, tobacco shop. But tobacco shop, you have to be a lot of a franchise. Tobacco shop have to be where you can't sell the children's products in a tobacco shop. So there's some regulation issues. Or other people buy the motel business, even management rights. Management rights service, you have to be aware you have the license. You have to undertake a training course to get the license. Yeah. So there's all type of business you can involve.
Right.
And
Okay,
there's a lot of information available on the website, like a business for sales, seek a business. You can just Google search. They will tell you what kind of business for sales in the market. But before you get a visa, you don't have to worry about what kind of business you have to look until you get a visa. At least you just look at what you propose. If when you get a visa or you finally come here, if you have changed your mind, you can always change your business plan.
Okay. Well, yeah, Yvonne, I think we can actually provide you more information about this. In fact, because as you can see from the very beginning of our presentation, we have a few business actually just been set up in Australia. In fact, it's in Queensland. And I can share you a little bit of the info. I can tell you what, like a cafe business in Australia, in Queensland especially, you probably can looking at like about the cost is 200,000, plus minus to that you can acquire a decent, small size business, cafe, because you don't need to hire a lot of staff. Okay, there's only a few tables. For the other client, like Pam, when she talked about a Chinese restaurant with 10 staff, I'm thinking that actually it's not a small restaurant. You're probably looking at like
it's quite a decent
40
size.
to 50 people. Yeah, it's like 40, 50 people. I can imagine the cost of this scale of restaurant might be $500,000 to even $1 million. You probably cannot acquire, wholly owned this business. So that's different scale of business you can looking at. Cafe is actually relatively cheaper, and we have clients actually invest in the post office. Actually,
yeah, franchise post office. Yeah.
Yep, and because post office
retail business, it's like a retail business, because country post office, they not just provide a post service, they also have parcel delivery. You can hire a locker in the Australian Post. They also sell some stationery products, so it's more like a retail business now.
Yeah, so I think we can. Yvonne, you can contact us afterwards, and we can provide you more.
Yeah, we also have some people purchase like a news agency, but I just remind people, news agency, except if it's in a good location. Most major shopping centers, they have news agency, but I just think some of the like stationery shops, I think one called the Kiki, used to be a very big franchise, but now they shut. I think there's too much competition, and a lot of people buy online, so that affected their business. So they closed. Retail business, there's a lot of changes over the time because of competition, because of market change, because e-commerce affected the business to be survived. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would suggest you look at your own business background, your experience, your investment interest, and then you decide which business you want to establish. Yeah.
We have a client.
Other people purchase. If you have enough money, you can purchase a childcare business. Childcare business normally takes $1 million, but you can have a business partner to work with you. So there's a lot of other things you can do. As I said, people do cleaning service. we have some people, they don't like cleaning, but actually cleaning business, you can earn a lot of money. As I said, in Australia, labor is very expensive. You don't have to do cleaning yourself. Of course, you hire people, most of cleaning service boss, they hire people like students, do the cleaning for them. So like our office building, whole building, 41 stories. You say each floor, you have to have at least 2 people do the cleaning. So that's, if you can get a cleaning job, I think you can make a lot of money. Other people, they particularly do cleaning for the hospitals. Other people particularly cleaning for the shopping centers. They're all sourced. In Australia, a lot of business is very specialized. So I think a lot of service business, even like a laundry service, you can good location. You open a small retail outlet for laundry service. I think you can get a lot of money with it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I think that's pretty much all. Thanks, Cynthia, because I think there's an overrun already. We expect 1.5 hours, but there's a couple of questions come in. So but I think it's time to let you go to enjoy the rest of your
It's my
weekend.
pleasure to be here, and I think it's a good formatting for us to have this discussion. But if you have more questions, we got the email address here, migration.qld.gov.au. This is our website, also email address migration@trq.gov.au. You're always welcome to contact us, or through Richard and Dawn. Dawn is based in Brisbane. Richard come to Queensland very often. So we're happy to work together to help you.
Great. OK， 咁多謝晒大家。咁我哋今日咧呢個 event 咧就差唔多啦。咁唔阻大家，應該係準備去出動飲茶。咁祝各位週末愉快。咁多謝晒。
多謝大家。OK， 好。
拜拜。
OK。All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Cynthia，拜拜。
Thank you, Cynthia.